welcome to another webisode of my story. So we are in the very intense part of my story, so trigger warning. I will be discussing some hard things during this, and I decided to kind of do a fun little cute hairstyle today. Maybe my cute fun hairstyle will distract from the seriousness of what I'm talking about. Not that I don't want you to take it seriously, but remember, it's a fictional story and it's not about getting revenge. It's about me telling my story and releasing a lot of the gunk that I've had to carry for so long. So, yeah, I think you'll see further on in my story why it's so important. But yeah, so I got my daughters back from their biological father's visitation, and I thought that everything was fine for the most part, but they were telling me some pretty horrific things. He told me that the rats ran away and disappeared. They were describing to me how the rats died in horrific ways, that he took their heads off. But also my oldest daughter had told me that he touched her, and my other daughter, who was also with him, was describing to me the difference in boys and girls' pee-pees, and that a boy's pee-pee is called, I actually said the word, it's called the P word, penis. And I didn't think much about the middle daughter for some reason. Back then, I don't know, I didn't. But my mother had coached me through what to do with my oldest daughter, and we'd figured out that I need to take her to the hospital to get checked. And so I did, and my cousin who was with me, she decided to go with me, and my friend Jerica she met me at the hospital to give me support. She had a bad feeling about Zach and Zach having the kids. I did too. There's a reason why I tried to fight it off for as long as I did. I felt like the older that they were, the more that they would be able to hold their own with him. I don't know. I never did think that kind of stuff. And so we're at the hospital, and we go back to get her checked, and the doctor comes in and basically says that he does not want to do a rape kit on her because she's so young, and it's so invasive, and it's so hard to explain to a young child why they have to go in and do all that. And so he just wants to do a small examination. They checked for, there was no bruises, there was no indication of anything bad. It looked okay, but he didn't want to do a full rape kit, and I just agreed with him because, I feel like the doctor has the best advice, and he said that I need to get with an advocacy center, and this was over the weekend, and so I did, and they said that they made an appointment for me to come in. They wanted to talk to both of my daughters and me and get us on tape. And so the problem with that was I was going to have my daughter's birthday party and head home back to the other state, 2 states away, to start my job at Cashapp. So I happened to have that lady that I apprenticed under, her phone number. I called her and I let her know what was happening, that my daughters need to go to an advocacy center, and once we get that done, I'm going to be heading home, and I will be able to start work on Tuesday. Is that okay? Because I won't be able to be there Monday. And she said, that's okay. I will see you Tuesday morning. And so I was like, okay. And so I went and I asked if I could stay with my aunt because she lived just a couple blocks away from the advocacy center, and I thought that would be simple. We'd just be there for a couple days. This was a house that I also lived in for a while with my mother, And my aunt was like, yeah, that's fine. And so we went and stayed with her before we went to the advocacy center. And at the advocacy center, you know, it was friendly, and there were toys there. And I went in and I told my story. I was on tape, you know, about how they had gone to Zach's. The first time I got her back, she had a spot on her right here, red spot, and I had taken her to Children's, and they determined that it was Rocky Mountain tick fever. It was a bug bite. It had spread, and she had been put on medicine, which gave it to him, and he finished out her medicine, I think. But and then, you know, I got her back, and we were at a birthday party, and she told me that he touched her. And my middle daughter was telling me about the difference between, you know, I told him everything. That you know, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, and I'll stick to it to this day. I don't know. I'm not lying. Anyway. So they got me on tape, and they got my girls on tape. I don't know what they said to the girls. They took them each back individually. I was in a room with all three of my daughters. The youngest, nothing happened to her because she was with me the whole time. But, and then they took my oldest daughter back there, and they talked to her for the longest time. And then they took my middle daughter back there, and they talked to her. Again, the whole weekend, I was calling Zach, and I mean, the whole entire time, on the way to the hospital, I was calling him, and he was not answering. I called him all weekend. I wanted to hear any explanation, and honestly, I would have taken any explanation. Just don't let this be true. That's just how I felt. Just don't let this be true. Don't let it be true. It can't be true. It just can't be. Right? So I took him to the advocacy center, and then yeah, we packed up and we took off back to the state that I was working. And I got home, and I was so happy to be going to work. This will help distract me, I thought, and I couldn't wait to start my work. And so I got to work, and the lady that I had called was the main boss, and, you know, another, I think it was the secretary. All three of them called me into a conference room, and they set me down, and they explained to me that because Zach had done this, that it compromises my ability to work with them, and that they're really sorry, but I need to go take care of this issue before I can work with them. And I didn't really know what that meant, because I felt like I'd taken care of this issue, and that I can work with them, and that if there comes a time where I have to show up for court or anything like that, I'll just go and do that. I don't know. I felt like I could do both. They disagreed, and they let me go. This was a crushing blow for me, because the school that I was in, the school that I chose, was a school that gives you an apprenticeship, that gives you a job at the end. All you have to do is do a good job. I think I did a good job. They did say that I was hired at the end. They said, "You're hired." And I said, well, my daughters have a visitation with their dad. I just want to be able to be near and away for a month. I mean, was it my fault or should I have taken the job? I start to overthink. And remember previously, whenever I said that I tend to overthink things and throw myself a big pity party, and then I get back up? Well, I went into my pity party and it was pretty intense. It was one of the biggest depressions of my life. The only comparable time was whenever my best friend and cousin died whenever I was 16. And then Zach calls me. He calls me and tells me pretty much. I was like, okay, what's the excuse? I mean, at this point, I've got the girls on camera and everything. I wasn't expecting what he said. And he'll deny it to this day. He'll deny it in front of anybody else's face, except for whenever we're alone. He'll smile and tell me. And he does it often, and he has done it often. What he said was, no excuses, Misty. I did it, and I meant to do it. And he goes on to explain why he meant to do it, and I just tuned out. I was shocked. I was in shock. I was literally in shock that that's what he said to me. And I was just thinking to myself, did I record that? I did not record it. I don't think I was thinking that to myself. That's what I think later, is that I should have recorded it, honestly. But I was thinking to myself, this can't be happening. This cannot be happening. This cannot be real. He can't be saying, who says that? Who says yes? And I meant to. Who says that? Why? What am I hearing? What is going on? What alternate reality did I find myself in? It can't be real. It can't be true. He thinks it's for their best interest. He's like explaining to me how it's for their best interest and how he grew up like this and it helped him and his mom molested him, and I was just in shock. I don't know. I didn't believe it. And I was like, well, I gotta go. And I hung up the phone and I thought to myself, I am never gonna let him be alone with them again. Ever. I remember calling my mom right before I took back off to the state, just to remind us a little bit. After I called her back and I said, okay, Mom, we went to the hospital and they wanted me to go to an advocacy center, and now they said that we can go home. And she's like, okay, go home. And I'm like, well, Mom, what do I do now? My daughter was molested. In my mind this whole time, like going back and telling the story, I can kind of see it now and how I didn't see it, but I was completely blind, and it was a good thing. God did that on purpose, y'all. He did it on purpose because God is good. God is good all the time. No matter how bad these things seem, God is good. And I was so blind, and I was like, what do I do now? My oldest daughter's been molested, and she said, you go home. And you give them babies the best life that you can. And you keep them away from him. I was like, okay. That gave me the strength. I was like, okay, yeah, I got this. I give them babies the best life that I can. And I can do that. And I keep them away from him. And that shouldn't be too hard now. We got the advocacy and the thing. I mean, he hadn't talked to me at that point. I wish I would have recorded that. But, yeah, I can do that. So, yeah, we headed home. And like, I lost my job. And he told me that. My husband was in war. And my babies were broken. and I spiraled deep. So that's where we're going to pick up on the next episode. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for listening to the trauma in my story, the real life trauma, and my fictional story. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I love you guys so much. As always, be blessed with love. That's all. Wait a minute. No, that's not all she got. She got a little bit to say just here at the end. So hold on, folks. I just want to say really, really quick, I've got an exciting opportunity to share with you. As a student and a content creator, I pour my heart and my soul into each and every video. And I absolutely love bringing you all along on my crazy adventures. But you know, creating quality content requires a lot of time, effort, and resources. But that's where you can come in. If you enjoy my videos and want to share your support, I've set up a few ways for you to contribute and become an even more integral part of the Mystic Hillbilly community. Your support means the world to me, and it helps me to continue doing what I love most. First of all, I have a few donation options available to you. If you'd like to make a one-time contribution, you can find the links to my Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal in the video descriptions. And every single donation, no matter how big or small, truly makes a difference and allows me to create even more exciting content for you all. But wait, there's more. I'm thrilled to introduce to you my Patreon membership, where for only $5.55 a month, you can gain access to exclusive behind-the-scenes content and outtakes from all my videos. As a Patreon supporter, you'll get to see all the edits and behind-the-scenes bloopers that didn't make it in the final cut. It's like having a VIP pass to the Mystic Hillbilly editing room. This is really something special for all my haters out there. As a member, you'll gain access to hours of footage of me making mistakes, doing everything wrong, and just having an all-around hilarious time. So, haters, if you ever want to see me in my most human, this is your golden opportunity. So, whether you choose to become a member or make a donation, know that your support is deeply appreciated. I genuinely thank each and every one of you for being a part of this amazing journey with me. Your positive energy and contributions mean everything to me. Before I go, I just want to take a moment to say that I pray that every blessing sent my way is multiplied and returned to the sender tenfold. May success find their way into your lives as you've brought them into mine. Thank you all so much for your support, and until next time, stay adventurous, stay curious, and always remember to keep the mystic in you alive. And now, that's all she got.